Welcome back to Board Games Christians Can Play, where I like to feature wholesome games. Today is all about New York Zoo. Uwe Rosenberg designed this game and it came out in 2020. It is 1 to 5 players, so I like that it can play up to 5 players. That's really cool. And it's age 10 plus. And I recently taught it to a 7-year-old and she caught on very quickly. So needless to say, it's a family-friendly game, yet has some really good strategy to it. There's 5 different animals in this zoo. Flamingos, Arctic foxes, penguins, meerkats, and kangaroos. Each person gets their own zoo board, and this particular zoo board, their starting animal is the kangaroo and the meerkat, and I get a meerkat and a flamingo. And you put them into your barn or the house area. The name of the game is to fill up your zoo board, so whoever does that first is the winner. This central board has different bays in it, and you collect tiles or animals as you go around the board. Each person shares the elephant to move along, and you can move 1 to 4 spaces around, and you can either choose to pick up tiles or to get animals. But in order to place animals, you first need tiles, and they are called enclosure tiles. So I will go first and I will choose this enclosure tile because it's a nice big one. There are 4 different types of polyomino tiles. They're all different shades of green. The very lightest shade goes at the very bottom and it covers 4 spaces in your zoo. The next darker shade of green is 5 spaces and then 6 spaces, and then this darkest one is 7 spaces. So I've placed this, and now I can place one of my animals that is in my barn into this enclosure. It's not I have to place an animal. You cannot have an empty enclosure unless only for one reason that I will tell you about as we progress. Okay, so now it's this guy's turn. He needs an enclosure as well, so he'll take this one. And then he'll put his kangaroo in there. And then it's my turn. And oh look, I passed a brown, all these brown areas is a breeding. So this one is an Arctic fox. Neither of us have Arctic foxes, so we can't breed them. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna stop here instead and collect a meerkat and a kangaroo. I can put my meerkat in with my other meerkat and the kangaroo will go into my barn. Now it's this guy's turn. He's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and he wants this tile. But, oh look, we passed a meerkat breeding. So now, because I have 2 meerkats in my enclosure, I get to put in another meerkat. Sadly, he does not, but he placed this enclosure so he can put his meerkat in there. Yeah, you cannot get enclosures without having animals to put in them. However, okay, I'll get this enclosure and I'll put it there. So I can either put an animal from my barn in there, or I can split up this enclosure and put a meerkat in there. So it's up to you how you want to strategize. Let's say this guy has a bunch of animals. Let's give him a penguin in there. And he's got a couple penguins and a couple kangaroos and a couple meerkats. And he goes along and let's say he's passed, oh, here's the penguin breeding. So now he can breed his penguin. You can breed up to 2 enclosures if you have at least 2 of the same animal in them. And then also for a 1 to 3 player game, you can choose to breed another animal of your choice. So he wants to breed a kangaroo, so he puts in another kangaroo there. So that's kind of nice. You can have up to 3 animals that you place in your enclosures as long as you meet the criteria. So let's say you got all your enclosures filled. Like, let's say you have one enclosure filled full of penguins. You take all the penguins away. The advantage to getting one enclosure filled up with all of these animals is because you can take an attraction tile now, and they are valuable because you can fill in little spaces that you weren't able to fill in with your polyomino. And so that's how you can fill up your zoo faster. So you just march around collecting and breeding and collecting your animals and getting new animals. Variety is always good. And that's how the game is played. I have taught it to quite a few people and they've all enjoyed it, although not too many people say, let's play it again. So it's a good game, but it's not one that you really necessarily want to play over and over again. But it is about God's animals, and it's about upkeeping a zoo. God put Adam and Eve in the garden and told them to tend the animals. So I will give this game a 1 fish rating because the theme is great, but I'm docking it a little bit because of the simplicity of it. Although it's a very good quality game. These are wooden animals. And yeah, I enjoy it. But we get it to the table once every few months. Anyways, I hope that you will give it a try. May your games bring you joy and God's blessings upon you, and I will see you in my next video.